So this is the 40-point on-page SEO checklist that you need to figure out why your website isn't ranking. Now, if you guys do want this on-page SEO checklist, make certain to click the link down below. It will send you through to the on-page SEO checklist URL on my website, and you will get it sent through to your email. Once you do actually have the on-page SEO checklist, make certain to click on File and then click on Make a Copy, and then you can actually tweak the on-page SEO checklist and make certain that once you are going through this video, you can actually follow along and tick all the boxes and untick all of the boxes as well. So make certain if you do want a copy of this, it's completely free. I'm not charging anything for it. Click the link down below and you'll get it sent through to your email completely free of you charge. Thanks.
Did you know that 81% of businesses are overspending when it comes to actually trying to rank their website organically in Google? That's why I've decided to create the Traffic Accelerator system. It will tell you exactly what your website is lacking. The Traffic Accelerator system will tell you exactly how many backlinks you need, what articles you're missing on your website, and also how to internally link those articles together to gain topical authority. Now, if you're struggling to rank on Google, click the link down below, get the Traffic Accelerator system for your website. It's only $195 and it will tell you exactly everything your website is lacking.
So today we're going to be looking at the updated on-page SEO checklist, and we're going to be taking a look live step by step and going through every single checklist that we can possibly do on our website on a page by page level. So this needs to be done from a page by page level. And the keyword that we're going to be looking at here is how many backlinks does a website need to rank on Google. If we actually take a look, it's a very long tail keyword. It should be a keyword we should actually be ranking for. However, we aren't. And if we take a look here, we are bottom of page 2. So we are position number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're position number 18 for this keyword. So we're going to be running a few checks as to why this content isn't actually ranking, and we're going to try to get to the bottom of this. So first of all, we obviously want to make certain that the page is actually indexed. Now, the quickest way or the easiest way that we can actually do that is just by copying the URL and going to Google and doing site : and then just pasting in the URL, and that will actually show us if the page is actually indexed. Now, if this actually came back and it wasn't actually indexed, like let's say if I just put in a dummy URL here, let's say if it came back saying your search did not match any documents, then that basically means that the URL, for whatever reason, it hasn't actually been indexed by Google. So what we might decide to do in that instance is either build some more internal links to it, freshen up the content, or potentially even run that page via an indexer. If you guys want a little good index, you can actually paste the URL into the indexceptional in. Basically, it will ping Google to come to that URL and obviously index that page. But if we are to go through this checklist, obviously the index status is obviously has been indexed. We then want to take a look at the page age. Now, one thing a lot of people don't take into consideration is even if you have got a well-established website, let's say the actual business was, or the domain name was registered 10 years ago, you've got a lot of domain authority, you need to also have page authority as well. And the best way that you can do that is by leaving a page for at least 45 to 60 days. In a lot of cases, if you were to upload an article fresh to your website for the first 45 to 60 days, you're probably not going to see that much of a result. That's mainly because of how Google actually crawls and indexes a page. Now, what a lot of people think Google does is, if we were to set this page live right now on our website, a lot of people think that Google comes and crawls the entire page, and that's actually not the case. What Google will actually probably do is they'll probably index, or they'll probably crawl maybe the H1 and maybe like the first 2 sentences on an actual page, hence why having LSIs, that we will go into further in this video, but having LSIs higher up the page is actually more of a ranking factor, so just bear that in mind. Page age you can obviously take a look at if you log into your website and actually look at the upload date of that article. But this article, this was actually uploaded probably about a year ago now, and it's just never really seen that many keywords actually ranking. If we take a look here at the actual page, as you can see, if we just click on show results, it's ranking for 29 keywords, but it's not ranking for anything that's like position 1, let's say. Like, it's all position 20, position 24, position 29, nothing spectacular. So that again is, yep, it actually has been crawled and actually uploaded at least 60 days ago. The URL structure. So the URL structure, a good URL structure is we actually have the keyword in the URL, which we actually do here. So how many backlinks does a website need to rank on Google? We actually have the entire keyword in the actual URL. Now, some websites, again, if you guys are starting out, if it's a brand new website, WordPress by default, sometimes it has like numbers in the actual URL. So it might have something like 2022 /08 / how many backlinks does a site need, right? So it might have like the date or something of when you actually uploaded it. Now this is actually kind of tarnishes your SEO when you have got the date, because when Google looks at the URL, what it will see is that, okay, this URL or this page was uploaded in 2022. There's a lot more articles talking about this exact same subject, so we're going to rank this lower, and we're going to rank the more up-to-date articles higher up, even if your article has recently been updated. The URL has got a massive ranking factor, so just bear that in mind. Again, URL structure, pretty decent. Now we're going to do a mobile-friendly test, and again, a lot of people, when they get their website redesigned, they don't take into consideration what their mobile looks like on, what their website looks like on mobile. All they care about is the desktop design. But obviously what we can do is we can look at page speed insights, and we can run a really quick test. One thing to bear in mind as well is that with mobile speed, or just with website speed, it can also be diminishing returns after a certain point. Like, let's say, for example, if this comes back and it's like 75 plus or 60 plus, we're probably going to be in the green. Like, this has obviously, the core web vitals on mobile has failed. On desktop, it has also failed. But would that mean that I would want to completely restructure my entire website to try and get like a higher score? The answer to that is probably not, because I do have pages that are ranking in positions 1, 2, and 3. If my entire website was literally like there was no keywords at all ranking in like the top 3 spots, that's when I would look to actually hire like potentially a web developer and try and speed up the actual website. But right now, it's not something that I would be looking at potentially improving or spending a lot of time on. So again, out of the 4 primary checks and the page readiness checks, 3 out of the 4 is pretty good. Obviously, with the mobile friendly test, I could definitely improve that. But like what I mentioned before, if this website wasn't ranking for any keywords at all, that's when I would take a look into mobile friendliness, mainly because there is a direct cost of actually improving that. I would need to hire a web developer. I would maybe need to hire someone off Upwork, for example, if I don't actually have an in-house developer. But it's just one thing to bear in mind. Then we've got the keyword relevance. So verify if the page is optimized for the target keyword and aligned with the search intent by analyzing competitors' content. So this basically means, like, I'm going to be taking a look at a few of my competitors and seeing like what kind of content do they actually speak about? Am I in line with everybody else? So if I take a look at these guys, for example. So one thing straight off the bat that I've noticed with this content is that they do have a video. They also do have a couple images, and they do talk about creating high quality content. Original content. Am I talking about original content? So I'm not talking about original content. That could be something that I might want to touch on in my article. One thing that is actually important when it comes to link building is actually mentioning words like outreach, for example. And again, I'm not mentioning that. Let's take a look at search logistics. And they've got like how many backlinks do I need, or how many links do I need to build. They've got a video here as well. So a video might definitely be something that I would want to actually have on that page. Why do I need to build links? That's a pretty important question to actually have. So just looking at the competitors, like looking at positions 1 and 2, they actually have better content than me. Again, like as much as I don't like mentioning that, or it is the truth. Like the actual content on this page, it definitely can be improved. So I would probably say that the actual article isn't the best optimized. Keyword placement: ensure the primary keyword is placed in H1, URL, meta description, and within the first 100 words of the content. So how many backlinks do I need? How many backlinks? Backlinks should I a website? So I've got a variation of the keyword within the first 100 words. I've got it in the H1. I also do have it in the page title. So this is kind of a tick in the box. SEO title optimization, yep. The actual title of the page, if we take a look here, how many backlinks does a website need? Yes, it is optimized. Meta description. Now, meta description is a little bit of a grey area because in a lot of cases, Google does rewrite the actual meta description. So just bear that in mind when you are ticking this off. Like, for example, this just has like a summary of it. So again, I'm going to leave that unticked, but again, it's one of those things where it's like a lot of times Google does rewrite it for the best purpose of what the actual user is searching. So just bear that in mind. If your meta descriptions ain't pulling in, it's not your website's problem. It's kind of like Google's trying to optimize your website for you. Heading structure, so H1s, H2s, and H3s. Now, one tool that you can actually use for this is the detailed SEO Chrome extension. You can take a look at your H2s and your subheading structure. And as you can see, we've got a few questions here. Backlinks needed by industry. Now, if we were to actually pull up, like, for example, this website, if we take a look at the subheadings, as you can see, like, there's a lot more content depth here. He's the website owner here. They've got like an FAQ section. They've got why do I need backlinks, and then they've got 3 questions underneath that. They've got like H3s and also H4. So there, again, there's just more words on the page. So this content is there's a reason why this content is outranking me. So H headings I'm going to leave unticked. Secondary keywords. So one thing that is important when it comes to actually optimizing your content is making certain that you do have secondary keywords. Now, the reason why I say secondary keywords, and if any of you guys have like a more newer website, this actually will benefit you a lot more, because if we were to just go after how many backlinks does a website need to rank on Google, like although it's a fairly long tail keyword, but if you actually have LSIs or variations of that, there's a little bit of a higher chance to rank for the variations. And once Google trusts you for those variations, that's when Google will reward you with the primary keywords. And now the primary keyword in this case will probably be like, how many backlinks do I need, right? That would be like the ultimate keyword we would want to rank for. Right now, we want to try and win on a secondary keyword. So how many backlinks does a website need to rank on Google? Like it's a fairly long tail keyword. Now, we would want to try different variations of that throughout our content. So like, for example, as you can see here, we've actually tried using how many backlinks should a website have to rank number 1 in Google. That's even a longer tail keyword. And if we can win for this keyword, eventually Google will trust us for our primary keyword, which is how many backlinks does a website need to rank on Google. A little bit of a tongue twister, but having secondary keywords throughout your content, that can definitely help. Having NLP optimized keywords, that can also definitely help. One tool that you can actually use for this is either auto blogging or Phrase, which I'm going to show you guys in just a second. So this is Phrase. Basically what we want to do is just copy our actual title, click on SEO workflow, and click or paste in the actual keywords. You can select the country, so you can do US or you can do UK or wherever you're actually from, and you can click on create document. Now what this does is it will take a look at all of the ranking websites within the top 10, and it will give you NLP keywords or secondary keywords to actually include within your content. So if we just click on start, this is going to go and do its thing. It might take a little bit of a long, might take a few minutes. If it does, I'll pause the video. But very quickly, what it's doing is it's seen Reddit, SEOjet.net, e-learning industry. It's going to all of these websites individually. And like what I'd done before, where I was looking at secondary keywords that I just know that are like relevant to the actual primary keyword, it's basically doing all the hard work. So it's checking out all the top 10 ranking results, and it's going to all of those websites. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to give us a list of NLP and also secondary keywords, or some people call them LSIs as well, to actually include on our page. So for example, it's came back with questions that we should actually have on our page. So how many backlinks does a website need? How important are backlinks for Google rankings? How to build 100 backlinks in 30 days or less? How many links should I include for SEO? We've also got the actual optimized section here. And now what we can do is we can actually paste in our content. If we just copy all of this content here, and if we just paste that into section here, and as you can see, the average score, so the average of the top 10, they have a 61 score. We currently have 20. They also have got a lot more words than us, so they've got 3,242 keywords. We only have 725 keywords. Now, one thing to bear in mind is within this actual on-page SEO checklist, I have included word count, I believe, here, which is step number 15. Word count, it's not a direct ranking factor. Hear me out on this. Now, if you obviously have like a 50 word count content, it's going to be really hard to include all of these keywords within your content. But if you have, let's say, a 3,000 word article, it's going to be a lot easier to actually talk about all of these different subjects. Like, for example, low quality sites. If you were talking about low quality sites on this page, you might have a subheading such as, is every single backlink the same in power? And you can say, no, some backlinks are low quality sites, for example. You can also mention spammy sites within that subsection. So just bear that in mind. Like whenever you see word count, it's never like, if say, for example, I was able to get, let's say, a content score of 85, and my word count was 2,800, brilliant. I'm more than happy with that. It's a lot better than what I am currently. So just bear that in mind. Let's take a look at some of the other questions that we have here. So we've got meta descriptions, H1, H2. We've checked that. Secondary keywords. So we have some secondary keywords. We don't have all the secondary keywords. Keyword density. Now, some of you guys, you might be a little bit shocked that I've actually mentioned keyword density, because it's a very old SEO term. For anybody that doesn't know, maybe like 10 years ago, if you wanted to rank higher, if you were to increase your keyword density, so how many times you're actually mentioning your primary keyword throughout the article, you had the chance of ranking higher. Now, right now in today's SEO age, keyword density is a little bit, it's not the same. It's probably the best way of describing it. Keyword density is still a very good metric to look at, because if you don't have the keyword at all within your content and you're trying to rank for best backlinks, or how many backlinks does a website need, and you just don't mention it at all, you're basically just you're setting your content up to fail. Now, I have mentioned you don't obviously want to overstuff your content, make it sound as natural as possible. Naturally speaking, if you're talking about how many backlinks does a website need, you're going to naturally include it, let's say 8 or 9 times throughout the content anyway. So yeah. Additional entities, use tools like SEMrush or NLP tools to add related entities, e.g. dog breeds for a dog harness page, let's say, for example. Now, I've obviously shown you guys phrase. One thing that I would be looking at doing here is just rewriting this entire article. I'm looking at this content now, and I'm just not happy at all with this actual content. I would be looking at completely rewriting this article and basically just increasing the actual headings, increasing the word count, so on and so forth. So let's just take a look here. Additional entities, I'm going to do that. Featured snippet targeting. So optimize the content to aim for a featured snippet by answering the main query early in the content. Now, the reason why I have actually said this, now one thing that we've done is we've actually got we've actually optimized for the query right at the end. This should actually be higher up in the content, and this goes back to what I was saying before. Google reads your content from top to bottom, and in some cases, or actually in a lot of cases, it doesn't even get to the bottom. So if you have more important entities and more important keywords higher up in the content, it's actually more of a ranking factor. So having LSIs, having secondary keywords higher up in the actual content, it definitely does help. And so I don't actually have that. Related questions for the keyword. I actually do have some related keyword questions. Would I say that I could definitely improve upon this? Yes, definitely. But related questions, I'm gonna put a tick in because I've actually answered a few related questions. So content quality, I would say I assess whether the content is original, helpful, or updated and covers the keyword in topic in depth. I would probably say that this content, it's not just by looking at like a few of the other websites, like this just blows me out the water. So the content quality isn't great. The word count is not great. I'm just going to untick that. Using Grammarly or spelling. So one check that we can always do. I always love doing this because the amount of times where I write articles and it just makes sense in my head, but it just doesn't make sense to other people, or I've just got loads of typos and stuff. So just running this content through Grammarly and just seeing if there are any actual issues with the content. Now, in some cases, Grammarly does come back and say, like, for example, in this case, like 1,000, you should spell it out. In this case, I probably wouldn't listen to Grammarly. I would actually dismiss that. But if, for example, if it comes back with like use commas, I would definitely use a comma. My grammar isn't the best, so Grammarly is like my number one best friend when it comes to uploading content. So I'm going to leave a tick for Grammarly. Content relevance. Ensure the content fully answers the search query and provides comprehensive coverage in the topic. Again, I don't think I've done a brilliant job of that. I think I've just I've kind of just scraped the surface with this content. It's not the best by any means, so I could definitely improve that. Goal completion setup. So this is kind of like, what do you want people to actually do after reading the content? Do you want people to buy backlinks from you? Do you want people to fill in a contact form? Do you want people to potentially visit another page? Like, what's the actual objection of this actual page? Now, again, when setting this page up, we probably didn't actually have an objection, but obviously I now own Searcheroo, so we could potentially link out to Searcheroo saying like, hey, if you guys want your first 100 backlinks, check out Searcheroo. So we could definitely do that. You can also have internal links. Like one thing that I am just looking at this page here, we don't actually have any internal links. Now that's not great. So we could definitely do some internal links. So it just keeps somebody on the website. Track metrics like bounce rate, dwell time, page interactions to measure user engagement. Now, this is something that you guys want to probably do after setting up Google Analytics. If you haven't already, highly recommend to set it up. You can see like where the traffic is coming from. If it's like, for example, if you guys have actually potentially looked at my content on YouTube and then clicked through to my Casual Dash website, I can track how many clicks are coming from YouTube, for example. I can track how many how much time is actually spent on the website, and that would give me a good indication as to how good that content is. Original visual content, confirm that the visual content, images, videos is original and relevant to the topic. Now, this page, it only has one image. This image is actually unique, but we could definitely have some more images. Like just looking at this page here, has 4 images here, and it also has loads of videos as well. So again, we don't have any of that. And we've got video / multimedia engagement. Again, we don't have any videos. So again, in some cases, just remember that not everybody wants long form content. Like, for example, I much prefer videos. I don't know about you guys watching this, but again, in some cases, you might want to create some videos, or you might want to create some shorts, for example, and actually embed those on the actual page. We then have got technical SEO, so page load speed. We've kind of already covered that with page speed insights, but again, it's just another thing to bear in mind. This page did actually fail because it got less than 70. And we've got internal linking. So one thing that you can obviously do is run a Screaming Frog audit. Actually have Screaming Frog live from yesterday's video, but you can obviously take a look at how many internal links your page actually has. Like, for example, if one of your pages only has 2 unique in links here, that would definitely be something that I would want to actually improve upon. So if, say, for example, we've got a page that we really care about ranking for, and it only has 2 internal links, that's raising alarms in my head. Like, I would be thinking, right, well, if my page, or if my website has, let's say, 150 pages, why has that page only got 2 internal links? Now, you can't really go wrong with more internal links to a page, although obviously don't spam internal links. Try and make it as natural as possible. But if you can obviously build more internal links to a page that you truly care about ranking for, then that can definitely help. In this case, this page does actually have a lot of internal links. I did actually take a look at that. But one thing it doesn't actually have is internal links to another page from this page. So, for example, I'm going to just pause this Screaming Frog because I believe it's actually lagging my computer a little bit. But one thing to actually bear in mind as well is that there's 2 sides of internal linking. There's internal links coming through to our webpage, but there's also internal links coming from this webpage. Now, this webpage doesn't have any of which, so it's not got any internal links. It also it's got internal links coming to that page, but it's not internally linking to any other web page within the actual content. Like, for example, we're talking about bad backlinks. On this website, we actually have a page talking about toxic links, like links that can actually cause more harm than good to your website. That would be a really good internal linking opportunity. We've just not done that. We also have a page on our website talking about different types of actual anchors. Again, we should be internal linking here, talking or going to that page about internal link anchors. Again, those 2 checks, it's actually failed. External linking, so again, we could externally link to potentially Google's documentation. We could external link to other resources that essentially back up what we're saying within our content. So if, say, for example, there was another website on the actual web talking about, let's say, how to improve your rankings by internal linking, we could link to that document. Let's say it was a Wikipedia article. We could obviously do an external link. Broken link check, so we can actually use Ahrefs broken link checker to do this. So if we do Ahrefs broken link checker, this is actually free to use as well. But if we actually take a look here, check for broken links, and this will take a look. Obviously, we don't actually have any broken links through to that page, but if we did, it would actually tell us. Image optimization, check if images are high quality, compressed, and fast loaded. And also include alt tags. One thing that you can also do with Screaming Frog is if we take a look at the images section here, and if we take a look on this right hand section, I know this tool looks super ugly, but if we take a look here, we can see missing alt text. This website that we just ran a quick Screaming Frog on actually has 30 alt tags missing on images. So again, that would be something that we would look to actually improve on. But in this case, we're actually going to tick that off. We then have got canonical tags. So again, with the detailed SEO Chrome extension, we can actually check the canonical. As you can see, it's self-referencing, so that's a good thing. It's actually going to the exact URL that we should be looking at as well. And SSL, so does the actual page have an SSL? Now, I'm going to assume that a lot of your websites do have SSLs nowadays, but in some cases, if you don't, you can take a look at SSL checker. Just click the top one and just run the actual page through that. So in some cases, you might just need to do this for e-commerce stores, especially if you're taking like payment or anything. And this should tell us if there is an SSL. There we go, perfect, done, sorted. So we do have an SSL. Offer information, so we do actually mention an offer on this page. Publish date and update, so we don't mention that. However, in some cases, you might not want to. Again, it comes down to if you have a developer, if not, or if you do, by all means, actually have a publish date and an update date. Trust signals include trust building elements like reviews, certifications, or badges. Now, if some of you guys are, for example, in the e-commerce space, you might want to essentially have like a Trustpilot or a reviews.io. If you guys are more in the service-based space, you might want to have, let's say, client testimonials, client reviews, GMB reviews, stuff like that can definitely help. Fact-checked content. So obviously, if you are producing content on your website, you want to make certain that you're actually fact-checking. In some cases, if you're using AI, it can do what's called AI hallucinations. I believe there definitely should be articles on AI hallucinations by now. AI hallucination. Yeah, so Google actually ranks for it. AI hallucinations are incorrect or misleading results that AI models generate. These errors can be caused by a variety of factors, including insufficient training data, incorrect assumptions made by the model, or biases in the data used to train the model. So make certain that you are actually fact-checking your content. Then we've got contact information and social proof as well. So social media accounts, that can definitely help. Contact information, that's actually in the EEAT documentation if you are actually able to be contacted. We then have got navigation simplicity. So is it easy to navigate the actual nav bar, for example, or is it complicated? In this case, it's fairly easy. So we're going to get a big tick in that box. Clear call to actions, ensure that every page includes a clear actionable CTA. So in this case, we don't actually have any call to actions, but we do actually have like some articles that we do want to push traffic through to. So like, for example, need investment, life lessons, need leads, etc. So that actually does have a call to action. Interactive elements include quizzes, polls, or interactive elements to enhance engagement. So, for example, videos could be really good, infographics could be really good, images, quizzes, so on and so forth. Not every single article requires that, just bear that in mind. Like, for example, if you're talking about the top 10 holiday destinations, you might actually have a quiz on that page, and then you can actually ask people certain questions, and then you can redirect that person to like a hot holiday destination or a cold holiday destination based off the questions that they actually answer within that quiz. And readability and formatting. So, do you know what? The readability of this content, it's not the worst. I've definitely seen big blocks of content that just looks like a huge book. So the readability, I'm going to give a tick. Scroll depth and heat maps. So you can use tools like Hotjar. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Hotjar, but basically, did I click on a PPC? Why did that come up? Proceed. There we go. So what Hotjar does is it basically has an overlay of your website that you can actually log into, and it tracks when people are actually looking at your content. So if I don't know why this website just is not working at all, but if I just go to images, it should, there we go. Like, it gives you like a hot map a heat map of where people are actually clicking on, so you can potentially further optimize to have your call to actions in certain places. Something like this I would use once your web page is actually ranking. There's no point in actually having Hotjar set up if nobody is clicking onto your website. So this is something that you might want to take into consideration once you're actually getting clicks and once you're actually getting visits, mainly because it actually tells you where you should actually focus on having certain call to actions. Like, for example, as you can see, a lot of people on this web page, if it lets me zoom in, a lot of people on this web page, they're actually reading the H1 here, and then they've got a lot of people are actually clicking through to that call to action, the big green button. So you might want to actually optimize that page to actually have a clear call to action at the top of the content. So again, I'm going to tick that. Bounce rate and dwell time. So again, using Google Analytics definitely does help for certain stuff like that. But again, if you're not getting any traffic, if you're not getting any visitors, if nobody is landing on your website, focus on the things that we actually mentioned at the start of the video. These types of things, like the user experience and the engagement, I'm going to assume once you get to this stage, you actually have people live on your website. There's no point spending tons of hours and tons of time and tons of money on these tools if there is literally zero people visiting your webpage. And the last thing is setting up goal conversion tracking. So setting up conversion tracking for pages, for contact form submissions, for purchases, engagement metrics, that could definitely help, especially if you are an e-commerce store, or even if you are potentially looking at running PPC as well. So that has been the on-page SEO checklist. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like. And if you guys do want this checklist, the link for this is in the description. Once you do get it, click on File and then make a copy. And this will be sent to you via your email. But yeah, if you guys have enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like. And if you guys do want a growth strategy call for your website, make certain to check out casualdash.com. Thanks.